If you've seen either of my videos, the best of Clone Wars or the best of Rebels, then you'll know I get a big old boner for anything Darth Maul related. After all, he is my favourite Star Wars character. So when they announced he was getting his own show, as you can imagine, I was ecstatic. I know it's Disney, so in hindsight, I should have been more trepidatious. But I wasn't. In my opinion, Darth Maul is one of the only Star Wars characters Disney hasn't fucked up. If anything, they've actually made him better. I love how they handle him in the Clone Wars. Those last 4 episodes of Season 7 are phenomenal. Star Wars at its best. All of the Maul stuff in Rebels is excellent. I even like his cameo in Solo. Disney have earned this faith I put in them.
You sure about that?
Now I will give credit where it's due. The opening scene deserves some praise. We start with some Mandalorians and a couple of Zabrak warriors mid-heist. That was pretty cool. Then after that, the police find them again. And this is when Maul makes his entrance, cutting them down with ease. Once more, I'm sitting here thinking, that was pretty cool. But even though I like this scene, herein lies my first couple of problems with the show. 1. I don't like what they've done to the lightsaber blades. The whole unstable thing reminds me of Kylo Ren and the sequels. And if there's one thing I don't want to be reminded of ever, it's the fucking sequels. And number 2, how the fuck does Maul even have this lightsaber? He lost it during his fight with Ahsoka in Clone Wars Season 7. Ahsoka grabs Maul's lightsaber, spins him around, throwing both him and his saber off of where they were fighting. And even though we don't get to see it, the lightsaber obviously falls down to the ground below. This is the last time we see Maul's lightsaber in the Clone Wars. After this, he's arrested and held in a cell until Ahsoka frees him. But because he's lost his lightsaber, he asks Ahsoka if he can borrow one of hers. She says no. So Maul kills clones with bits of the ship and the Force. He then destroys the ship using the Force. And finally, he flies away in a smaller ship, still without his lightsaber. So again, I'll ask, how the fuck does Maul have his lightsaber back in this show, which is set 1 year after the Clone Wars? And yes, I'm 100% sure the lightsaber they use in this show is the same as the one they used in the Clone Wars. Now you could say maybe one of his Mandalorians picked it up on the battlefield of Mandalore. However, that's highly unlikely, as they were getting defeated and arrested while Maul was fighting Ahsoka. And I can't imagine the clones would allow their prisoners to pick up a lightsaber. You could also say, what about Rook Cast? She's a Mandalorian, and she's in Maul's Shadow Lord. Perhaps she retrieved it for him.
Our survey said...
She wasn't on the battlefield of Mandalore. She was piloting the ship that was hovering above Maul and Ahsoka's fight.
Lord Maul, we must depart immediately.
And then she flies away after Maul's been captured, so she definitely didn't retrieve his lightsaber. The thing is, by giving Maul this lightsaber back, all Disney have done is created an unnecessary continuity error, especially when we don't know how or where Maul got the saber he uses in Rebels, and we could have found that information out in this show. Also in Rebels, we're shown Maul's still in possession of the Darksaber, so Maul could have easily used either one of those lightsabers in this show, and there'd be no issue.
This is fine.
It's literally somebody's job to keep track of the Star Wars canon. These motherfuckers are getting paid to do a job they don't even fucking do. Meet Devon. She has the shittest Star Wars name I've ever heard. Fucking Devon. And this is her master, Iko Diodaki. Master Daki. A much better Star Wars name. These two are Jedi. Yep, even more Jedi survived Order 66. The most repetitive storyline in Disney Star Wars. Fucking come up with something else, would ya? You know, something like Andor. Just don't make it boring and shit like Andor. At this point, Disney have an army of Jedi that could have taken on the Empire. Here's a list of every Disney Order 66 survivor. Kanan Jarrus, Luminara Unduli, Barriss Offee, Ahsoka Tano, Baylan Skull, Quinlan Voss, Nari, Killer Beck, Grogu, Gungi, Cal Kestis, Sira Junda, Eno Cordova, Bo Dakuna, Taron Malakos, Kirak Infila, Benrin Bar, Jocasta Nu, And that's not even including all the Inquisitors who are ex-Jedi that fell to the dark side after Order 66. Disney are diminishing the tragedy of Order 66, which was presented to us as a cataclysmic near-total extinction event. That's why Tarkin says,
"The Jedi are extinct. Their fire has gone out of the universe. You, my friend, are all that's left of their religion."
And Yoda says in Return of the Jedi,
"You, when gone am I, the last of the Jedi will you be?"
Actually, Yoda, you're wrong, mate. Thanks to Disney, Ahsoka's still alive, and Grogu, and Reva, and Asajj Ventress, and Baylan Skoll, and Cal Kestis, and Quinlan Vos, and Gungi, and now fucking Devon as well. Completely misunderstanding and undermining the importance of Luke Skywalker's character in the original trilogy. He was the New Hope, and the Last Hope. I'm not finished with Devon yet. She's also got that unlikable girl boss thing going on. She's a... Strong woman! Strong! I'm so sick of every modern female character having these tropes. Blunt, dismissive, pretends to be stoic, acts tough, and domineering. They're writing their women characters as men. Meet Lawson. With Andor, they gave us a whispering Mexican.
I'll skip this one.
With Maul Shadowlord, they give us a mumbling Mexican.
Even if I did, I couldn't tell you.
Sorry, say again?
What you know about him?
She doesn't like that.
Not enough to worry about around here as is.
Say again?
What gets me is the actor who voices Lawson also voiced Death in The Last Wish, but he doesn't mumble at all in that role, which means either Wagner Moura really couldn't be bothered and phoned it in for this role, or Lawson's mumbling was an intentional acting choice? Oh, tell a lie. After a quick Google, I found out Lawson's voice actor is actually Brazilian. My bad. I also found out the voice actors for Devon, Riley, Marok, and Rook are all of Latino descent. So Disney's Mexican problem is even worse than I thought. Star Wars needs their very own ICE unit to get this situation under control.
Nigga, I don't give a fuck. Even if you think I should be.
Lawson is a lawman trying to keep law and order, and this is his droid partner. Meet Two Boots. I don't like Two Boots. He's voiced by Richard Ayoade, and normally I like Richard Ayoade. I'm a big fan of the IT Crowd. His nerdy voice works in that show because his character is a nerd. However, his nerdy voice doesn't work for the dark, gritty and serious tone of Maul Shadowlord. Plus, his voice is so recognisable that every time I hear him speak, it takes me out of the show because in my head I'm seeing Richard Ayoade instead of the character Two Boots.
You're being detained for questioning.
What makes it worse is Two Boots is part of a batch of these police droids, all of which are identical to each other. They're all the same make and model, all likely manufactured on the same conveyor belt. And yet, every other droid except Two Boots sounds like this.
We lost them. Halt, citizen. You must comply. She will not comply. Level 8 appears to have numerous technical malfunctions.
So how comes these ones actually have robotic voices and Two Boots doesn't? Did the guy who put them together decide it would be funny to give one of the droids a silly voice and a personality? Furthermore, Richard Ayoade has already played a droid in Star Wars. He was Q90 in the first season of The Mandalorian, which raises the question, if they have the exact same voice and mannerisms, are they the same consciousness? Is there a hive mind of Richard Ayoade droids out there in the Star Wars universe? I fucking hope not. I don't know how they managed it, but somehow there's a droid in this show who's even more annoying than Two Boots. At least it won't be back for season 2. If Lawson and Devon were only side characters, I wouldn't have a problem. The problem is, they're not side characters. Seeing as the show is literally called Maul Shadowlord, you'd expect Maul to be our main character, right?
Wrong.
This is Devon's story. For some reason, the creators thought she should have more screen time than Maul, while Lawson has pretty much the same as Maul. The show's 10-episode runtime is roughly 3 hours and 26 minutes, and of that 3 hours and 26 minutes, Maul's only on screen for 53 minutes and 58 seconds. Lawson takes up 52 minutes and 43 seconds, and Devon has 54 minutes and 24 seconds. Now you might be thinking, there's not much difference in those times. And yeah, you'd be right. The screen time is equally distributed between the three of them. But that's the fucking problem. This is supposed to be Maul's show, not the Devon and Lawson show. I just don't give a fuck about Devon or Lawson. I'm only here to see Maul, and when I do see Maul, that's when I actually enjoy this show. For the most part, I do have some complaints, we'll get there. But first, I can't glaze Sam Witwer enough. He is exceptional, one of the best voice actors of all time. He took a one-dimensional character whose only thing was being evil and made him
So much more.
He added complexity and gave Maul layers, like an onion. I love the progression of the character. In this show, Maul doesn't solely rely on his rage and physical agility. As well, he excels in cunning manipulation and being a strategic mastermind. Plus, this show gives us some exemplary scenes, like when Maul's taunting Devon in the dark, and the tea scene just before it, when Maul takes down the Imperial Walker with his lightsaber. I love the callbacks to Maul's iconic Phantom Menace pose. Also, I really like when Maul does the Palpatine spin and scream move. That was his master after all, it makes sense that he would have taught him the same move. And of course the Vader fight, but more on that later. So what are my complaints with Maul? Well, they made him
Vader!
First things first, they fucked up the power scaling. Maul should have easily been able to beat both Morok and the Crow. He's a better, more acrobatic duelist than both of them put together. He's faster and stronger because he was trained from childhood by Darth Sidious, the most powerful being in the galaxy. This show actually gives us a flashback to what that training was like for Maul.
Your focus is feeble, my young apprentice. Now, take it. You must have been
Every time Maul failed, he was punished. Torture, isolation, and severe conditioning, all at the hands of his master. Maul endured this torment for years. Palpatine moulded Maul into the ultimate living weapon. A true Sith. Let's not forget Vader was a backup plan for Palpatine. If Maul didn't lose to Obi-Wan on Naboo, it would have been him at the Emperor's side ruling the Empire. Whereas the Inquisitors are actually a fucking joke. They were trained by Vader, but barely at that. Vader kept the Inquisitors intentionally weak so they couldn't threaten his position as Palpatine's apprentice. The Inquisitors are so shit, they struggle to hold their own against Kanan Jarrus, who only has Padawan training. Yet in this show, the barely trained Inquisitors beat Maul like he was nothing. Even though we've seen Maul cut down multiple Inquisitors in Rebels, somehow they turn him into a snivelling, surrendering little bitch. And if you think Maul lost the fight because he was injured, that's a stupid argument. And here's why. During a fight scene, Master Daki kicks Maul in the knee area. And for some reason, Maul reacts as if that hurt him. Let us not forget that Obi-Wan cut Maul in half at the waist. From the waist down, Maul is machine now. A kick to his robot leg wouldn't hurt him. If anything, kicking Maul's metal leg should have hurt Daki. But no, because of that kick, Maul's injured for the rest of the show and won't stop whinging about it. Maul just keeps bitching about how his fully metal leg that doesn't have any nerve endings is somehow hurting him. Now, if Maul was having pain in the area his torso connects to his robotic legs, then fair enough. His torso has nerve endings and is actually a part of him, unlike his metal legs. It is literally impossible for Maul to feel pain in a metal limb. If an amputee got shot in their prosthetic leg, they wouldn't scream out in pain, "My leg!" That would be stupid. As equally stupid as the people who think Maul lost this fight because he was injured from a kick in the knee. And my last problem with this show's portrayal of Maul is this.
I won't let him do this to anyone else.
That doesn't make any sense coming from Maul. He was raised by Palpatine and indoctrinated with the Sith code, which is fundamentally rooted in dominance and selfishness. Maul is Sith. Sith are selfish. He doesn't care if Palpatine does this to anyone else. He cares that Palpatine did this to him. He wants revenge for him. Maul only cares about himself. Other people are mere chess pieces to be sacrificed for his own ambitions. At least, that was my understanding of the character. But apparently I'm wrong. This Maul cares. He even has a little cry about it all.
Look how they massacred my boy.
At least the fight scenes are good, is what I'd say if I was completely retarded.
Never go for retard.
Most of the fights have zero stakes. They're just padding the runtime with flashy bullshit. We already know Morok can't die. He still has to turn into a green fart in the Ahsoka show. The Crow can't die here either. He still has to be killed incredibly easily by an unarmed Ahsoka. Yet another example of how shit the Inquisitors are. Maul obviously can't die here. He's still got to be sliced in half again, vertically this time, by Obi-Wan in Rebels. And there's absolutely no chance Vader could die here, is there? When you know none of the characters are in any real danger, it makes the fights a lot less interesting to watch. The joke is, they could have avoided this problem altogether. Instead of using Morok or the Crow, all they had to do was use Inquisitors whose fates are still unknown, like the 4th sister and 10th brother. Well, the 10th brother does die in the comics, but Disney doesn't care about the comics. They wipe their ass with them all the time, like with Yoda's lightsaber that was destroyed, but then somehow shows up in the Book of Boba Fett. Disney could have just ignored the 10th brother's comic death and brought him back anyway. Or they could have just created new Inquisitors. There are numeral gaps in the roster. Anything would have been better than what we got. I would have actually been invested in the fights. Plus, Maul could have killed someone instead of being a weak-ass bitch. And don't even get me started on the choreography. The 3v1 Vader fight feels stagnant at times. There are multiple examples of Maul standing around waiting for his turn to strike Vader's saber. I really don't like that. This is Maul we're talking about. Mr. Acrobatic himself. While Vader's busy with the other two, Maul should have flipped over him and attacked from behind, rather than just standing there doing nothing. The thing is, I know they can do outstanding animated fights. Just look at Maul vs Ahsoka in Clone Wars Season 7.
Oh, it's beautiful.
An absolute masterclass, and the reason is because they used motion capture and brought back Ray Park to do the fighting as Maul. The result? A fluid fight that feels real and is breathtaking to watch. Motion capture is by far the superior way to do fights in animation.
We don't have mocap on the show.
Fuck.
As for Vader himself, to my surprise, he was handled very well. That's how you do Vader, as an unstoppable force and a complete powerhouse. I especially loved the horror elements they threw in. Vader felt scary again. Like a slasher movie villain, he had the silent killer effect. And I know there's people out there who don't like the fact that Vader doesn't say anything, but they're wrong. It canonically makes perfect sense for the character. At this point in the timeline, Vader has erased Anakin Skywalker. In his mind, he killed Anakin by burying the past. Vader fully knows who Maul is. Anakin trained against holograms of Maul as a Padawan, but talking to Maul and acknowledging that he knows him would force Vader to remember his old life, and that's something he simply won't do. Like, what did you even want Vader to say?
Oh wow. Is that my ex-master's arch-enemy Darth Maul? Who killed Qui-Gon Jinn and tried to run me over when I was a child? Ha ha, small world.
Another thing I like is how completely outmatched Maul was against Vader. The overwhelming power Vader commands was too much for Maul, which explains this line in Rebels.
I cannot defeat Vader alone.
At the end of episode 6, after fighting Maul, Marok reports back to someone. The reason I say someone is because we never find out who this is. Now some of you might think it's Vader. After all, the Inquisitors do report to Vader. He is their boss. It's not Vader though. The person Marok is talking to is clearly wearing a hood. Vader doesn't wear hoods. Can't be him. Some of you might think Marok is talking to the Crow. He has a hood, and conveniently shows up in the next episode, almost as if he'd been called in for backup. Again though, it's not him. Marok addresses the person he's speaking to as my lord. How the Inquisitor's ranks work is the lower number you are, the higher authority you have. So seeing as Marok is the first brother, and the Crow is the 11th brother, it can't be him. Marok wouldn't call his subordinate my lord. My guess is Marok is talking to Palpatine. I mean, he does tell Maul,
The Emperor wants you dead.
But there's no way to know for sure, because they refuse to show us. Now I understand why they did it that way, with a little cliffhanger of sorts. They want you to be wondering all week who Marok was talking to. What they fail to understand is how annoying it is for the audience when you wait all week for the answers, then that next episode finally comes, but the answers fucking don't. Maul's Zabrak warriors have a really cool design. I would have liked to get to know them a bit more rather than spending all that time with Devon and Lawson. Like, how did they survive the Dathomir Purge? And how did they find their brother Maul afterwards? But no, instead they killed them off before we even find out what their fucking names are. I mean, at least they get good death scenes. The first one dies protecting Maul, and the second one is surrounded by stormtroopers. He gets shot a total of 9 times. Does that stop him? Does it fuck? He throwing knives a few, then seeing no way out, he tackles a few more stormtroopers into acid. Can you imagine how much more impactful their deaths would have been if the creators decided to do even the slightest bit of character work with them? Oh well, wasted potential and disappointment pretty much sums up Disney Star Wars. There were so many moments they could have killed Master Daki. We all knew he was gonna die. He was created just for this show, the character doesn't appear in anything else, and Maul wants Daki's apprentice as his own. The only question was, when were they going to kill him? The whole time I was watching, I was sitting there like, surely he's going to die here. But no, he kept surviving episode after episode. And then, when he does eventually die in the last episode, we don't even get to see it. It cuts away just before, then cuts back after he's already been impaled. What the fucking fuck? I don't know about you, but when a character dies, I want to see the whole fucking thing. What we got though, was the equivalent of watching a porno that starts with dick already in pussy. I want to see insertion, both the lightsaber and the dick.
I may have gone too far in a few places.
Dave Filoni strikes again with yet another continuity error. During the Siege of Mandalore, Rook says to Gar Saxon,
"What's going on?"
Maul just told the Syndicate leaders to go into hiding.
And who are the Syndicate leaders? Who's standing there? Well, we've got the Black Sun, the Pikes, and is that Dryden Voss, leader of Crimson Dawn Crime Syndicate, as seen in the movie Solo? It is. So in the Clone Wars, Dryden Voss is the leader of Crimson Dawn. Yet in Maul's Shadow Lord, which is set 1 year after this scene, Dryden Voss isn't the leader. In fact, he rescues Maul in the finale, so Maul will make him the leader.
Once I complete my part of the bargain, you will kill Boss Rentero and install me as the leader of Crimson Dawn.
What the fucking fuck? How, when, why? How has he gone from leader to wanting to be leader? When exactly did Boss Rentero replace Dryden? And why can't the cowboy hat wearing imbecile keep his own story straight? If you've placed faith in Dave Filoni and think that now he's in charge of Lucasfilm, we're going to start getting good Star Wars projects, unfortunately, you're wrong. He's just as retarded as Kathleen Kennedy was.
Yeah, I think of myself as I like to think liberal-minded. And this is what we've tried to do with the Star Wars saga now. We've tried to create more female characters can represent so many things, because what we're trying to do isn't just create one type of character. We're trying to create a diverse range of characters, especially female characters that are strong, that are independent. When you look at Rey, on The Force Awakens, she's a female lead in a whole new chapter of the Star Wars saga. We haven't done a movie for 10 years, and here comes a Star Wars film, and here comes Rey. And what is it? Is it Panic in the Streets? Oh my gosh, a female lead in a Star Wars movie. And then the trailer for Rogue One comes out, and it's another female lead. Oh my gosh. How unfair. We've had probably like 2 million straight film cinematic roles where men have been leads, and now we've done 2 in a row that are women. Well, too bad. Oh well. Maybe there are more coming. And I run into this sometimes when working with writers. It's like, well, we just made one of those. Made one of what? We just made a female lead. We can make another one. Really? Yes, we can. I want dimensional, diverse characters. I want characters that are women of every race, every age, every description, what have you, doing interesting things and being dynamic. That's what we're dedicated to at Lucasfilm, I can assure you. And believe me, I think it's a strong future for Star Wars. Our force for women characters, strong women characters, intelligent women characters of all description. It won't just stop with 2 movies. It's something we're dedicated to for the foreseeable future, because they're just great characters. Thank you so much.
Rook tells the Mandalorians to leave their credits behind.
The credits will slow you down.
What I do with my cut is my business.
Leave them.
The Mandalorians are rightfully pissed.
Nearly all of our reserves were lost back there.
The situation is untenable. Even if we get out of this, we'll be no better off than when we...
If you're not careful, it'll get worse for you.
She is a tiny, tiny woman. He shouldn't be intimidated at all. He's like quadruple the size of her and could snap her like a toothpick. But this is Disney Star Wars, so of course he's intimidated. Rook then speaks to Maul and tells him,
Some of the commandos, there is a price for their loyalty, and that cost is rising.
If only you let them keep their fucking credits. I don't like the Stormtrooper armor in this show. I get that we're in the transition period from clone armor to Stormtrooper armor, but I still don't like it. I don't care if it is inspired by Ralph McQuarrie's original trilogy Stormtrooper concept art. There's a reason the design was changed. It looks shit. As someone who thinks anime is the gayest thing ever, seeing Maul Naruto run, even for a split second, was very upsetting for me. And if you want to get really nitpicky, somehow a few seconds of getting flamethrowered melts and kills a robot. If that wasn't bad enough already, the robot has a shield. Last thing I'll say is I hope Lawson's dead, but seeing as we didn't get to see it, he'll probably be back in Season 2 to mumble some more. Speaking of Season 2, it's already been greenlit. It's coming. So what do I think's going to happen? What are my predictions? Well, Maul's obviously going to train Devon in the ways of the Sith. He'll teach her to give in to her hatred, and she'll become Darth Talon. If you don't know, Darth Talon is from George Lucas's unused treatments and concepts for his sequel trilogy, in which Darth Maul would have returned with his apprentice Darth Talon to fill the power vacuum left by the Empire. And when Devon becomes Talon in Season 2, the writers will make her super powerful, even stronger than Maul because of...
The message!
Throughout Season 1, Maul mentions multiple times about wanting revenge on Sidious. I think Maul will continue to grow his crime syndicate till he has an army. Then he'll go to war with the Empire. He'll fight Sidious again, and lose again. Somehow he'll slink away and survive, while his army is crushed. Of course Devon's gonna survive. Then she can pop up in future Star Wars projects.
How exciting!
All in all, this show is mid as fuck. And it pains me to say that because I really wanted to like this show. Yes, it's beautifully animated, and yes, there were bits I really enjoyed. But no matter how much I like certain scenes, if a show is more bad than good, then it's a bad show.
Smoke weed every day.